Have you ever watched those one versus many action scenes and wondered how to actually create them for your own AI films? I'm talking about those gunfight and combat sequences, where one character is fighting against multiple opponents at once, and everything feels cinematic and coordinated. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to create that kind of scene, the same type of fight scene you saw earlier. We'll combine combat and gunfight sequences together so you can create 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3, 1 versus 4, and even larger action setups depending on your project. I'll walk you through the workflow step by step, because what we're really building here is something you can reuse across different action films you create later. We'll start with generating the prompts, move into choreography, then build the motion references and turn everything into a complete action scene. So with that said, let's get started. So I'll do a quick prompt here. I'll simply tell Claude to generate a single scene video prompt for a 1 versus many fight scene. What I actually want are 2 separate 15 seconds video generation prompts. Then I'll click enter and wait for Claude to generate them. Basically, I just need a short video prompt because that's what I'll use to demonstrate the entire workflow. So after waiting a few seconds, I now have my video generation prompt from Claude. I got this because I'm using my AI filmmaking skill, which is available on my Telegram channel. You can also get that skill there. But you can also use any prompt to generate from Claude. It doesn't really matter. The main point is simply getting a short prompt that we can use for our shot-by-shot process. After getting that prompt, the next thing we want to do is use our choreography prompt. The choreography prompt is also available on my Telegram channel, and I also covered it in my previous 1 versus 1 fight scene tutorial. The difference now is that we're doing 1 versus many fight scenes, while also showing how much more flexible and effective this workflow can be. After you get the document, the Dance Master choreography prompt, all you have to do is copy the prompt, or you can use it as a file. I'll close this, copy the prompt, paste it into Claude, then send it and wait for Claude to process it. Claude is going to ask some questions and we need to answer them. We need a few things here. We need the main performer, we need the motion idea, we need the motion category, and then we also need the other characters. Now let's start answering those questions. So Claude can use the prompt we pasted earlier to generate the prompt we use for both the motion reference sheet and the video generation. Let's start with the first shot. First, we want to reference our main performer, so character 1. All you need to do is upload the image for the first character. Go into your file directory and select the character image. I'll use this one as character 1. Then for the remaining characters, I'll go ahead and add 2 or more additional characters. I already have some characters prepared, so I'll just use those. And if you're wondering how these characters were created, you can check my previous videos where I showed how to create character reference sheets. I have multiple videos covering that process, and basically we're using those character reference sheets here. After attaching all the characters inside Claude, I'll begin assigning each image. I'll say image 1 equals character 1, then image 2 equals character 2, image 3 equals character 3, then image 4 equals character 4. Basically, what we're doing here is assigning each character to its corresponding image. Now that our character references are set, we can move to the next question, which is the motion idea. For the motion idea, all you need to do is copy the video prompt for the first shot. So go back to the fight scene prompt, scroll up and copy the first video generation prompt. Then paste that into the motion idea section. You can also include any other details needed there. The next thing we need to answer is the motion category. For this, I'll simply type motion category equals hand combat and gunfight scene. Now we've answered the 3 main things. We've referenced the characters, added the motion idea, and included the motion category. Once everything is ready, click send and wait for Claude to process everything and generate the final prompt that we'll use. Now we have our results. We have both prompts ready, the choreography prompt for the motion reference sheet and the Seedance 2 prompt for video generation. So basically, we now have the complete choreography output for our 1 versus many fight setup, and we can start using it to create our content. We'll first generate the motion reference sheet, then we'll use that motion reference for the final video generation. For this part, we'll be using OpenArt. Inside OpenArt, the first thing we want to do is create our characters. I'll show you how to do that. From the Home tab, click on Character. After clicking Character, we want to create our character setup. Start from an image, upload the image of your character, then add the character name. If your character has a voice, you can add that too, then click Create. I won't go through the full process again because I already have my characters created. So I'll close this and go back to characters so you can see the list I already have. Here under characters, click Browse Library. This will show all the characters you've created previously. These are some of the characters I used in earlier films and videos. Once your characters are ready, we can move to the next stage of the process. Now we want to create our motion reference sheet. Click Image from the sidebar and make sure the model is set to GPT-2. After that, import all the characters needed for this specific shot. We want to add them as visual references. Under Visual Reference, click Characters and Words, then select Characters. Once that opens, choose the characters required for your scene. I'll choose my own character as the main performer, then I'll select the remaining characters for the scene. There's one thing you should keep in mind here. Using GPT Image 2, we run into a limitation where we can only reference 3 characters. Since we need more than that, we'll simplify things slightly and work with fewer characters here. Once the characters are added, go back and copy the motion reference prompt. Copy the entire prompt and return to OpenArt. Paste the prompt into the input field, and now we need to reference each character correctly. So I'll assign character 1, then character 2, character 3, and character 4. Then I'll continue referencing them accordingly. After that, choose either 2 generations or 4 generations. I'll just go with 1 generation here. Set your aspect ratio to 16, 9 inches landscape mode. Leave the resolution at 1K and keep quality set to medium. Then click Generate and wait a few seconds while your motion reference sheet is created. Now our motion reference sheet is ready and you can view it here. Everything looks good and everything is working properly. At this point, you can download the motion reference sheet if you want, but you don't necessarily need to because we are mainly going to reference it directly. The important thing is that we now have the motion reference sheet ready. The next thing we want to do is move into video generation. So click on Video, then select Seedance 2 as your model. After selecting Seedance 2, switch over to text with reference because that's what we'll be using here. The first thing we want to do is reference our characters and use our prompt. Start by copying the full prompt. Copy everything, then paste it into the prompt area. After pasting the prompt, we now want to edit it so we can properly reference our characters. Just like we did earlier, we'll add visual references for both the characters and the motion reference sheet. Click on Characters, then begin adding the same characters we used before. Keep adding the same set of characters so everything stays consistent across the process. Then for the other reference, switch to Image and upload the motion reference sheet, the one that contains all the action choreography we generated earlier. At this point, we now have 6 images added. Next, we need to edit our prompt references. Character 1 becomes the referenced character. So for character 1, I'll replace it with the actual tagged character reference. Then for character 2 and character 3, continue replacing and referencing each character throughout the prompt. Now, we also want to reference the motion sheet itself. Instead of leaving the choreography section as it is, replace it with the uploaded motion reference and specify that it should follow the choreography strictly. Once that is done, we are almost ready to generate. Set the output to 720 if you want to keep it there. Then change the duration to 15 seconds and leave the mode set to normal. After that, click Generate and wait a few seconds while the video starts processing. After the generation is complete, you now have the result of your actors fighting inside the action scene, following the choreography and structure we created throughout the process. And that's the full breakdown of how you can create your own one versus many fight scene for your AI film. So that's the complete process for creating your own one versus many AI fight scene. If you found value in this video, like this video, share it, and I'll see you in the next one. Lights out.